The two words management and leadership are often used as synonyms. That is to say, people don't even notice that in one sentence they're saying one, in one sentence they're saying another, and they're thinking the same thing, whatever it is. Um, or they think that the guys on top do leadership, whatever that is, and the guys in the middle or lower do management. Both are wrong, both are dangerous, and both are increasingly a problem in a world that's changing faster and faster. Let me explain. Management has, believe it or not, mostly been invented in the last century as we've created these modern things that we take for granted, large-scale organizations. And it is about a set of processes that make something function, despite the fact that it can be in multiple locations, many people, complicated products, and function in a way that if you talked to somebody even 200 years ago, they would have told you you can't do that. You can't have this many people in this many places producing this complicated stuff and make it all work. Well, you can. And we've invented it, and it's called management. And it has parts associated with planning, parts associated with budgeting, parts associated with organizing people, staffing the jobs correctly, parts associated with measurements and controls, and big pieces associated with smart problem-solving techniques when action goes off of plan. Now, that is not what leadership is. If you go down through history and look at people who everyone talks about as a great leader, they don't talk about that stuff. They talk much more about vision. They talk much more about people believing in, buying into that vision, often through various methods of communication. They talk a lot about energy and empowerment and motivation and inspiration. And if you ask yourself, well, what if management kind of runs this organization that shouldn't be able to function, it's too big, it's too spread out, it's too complicated. What leadership tends to do, it tends to be much more at the heart of creating things in the first place or changing them in significant ways to take advantages of opportunities or to duck hazards or to take a group and literally the same people, getting them to behave in new and different ways that produce much, much, much better outcomes. Now, the problem today is that most of the time when we talk about either management or leadership, we're really talking about management. If you look at business schools, including the one that I've grown up with and spent my entire life in Harvard Business School, and you look at their curriculum, it's almost always all about management. Literally 95%, maybe 5% about leadership. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because people need to understand these managerial processes, and for most people early in their careers, if they can't master that stuff, they get themselves into trouble. But here's the rub. The world is moving faster. Increasingly, organizations have to keep up with that speed. Increasingly, they need to change, and therefore, increasingly, they need people who can provide leadership, and not just at the top, but in the middle, and even young people doing projects or being the head of a task force at lower levels. And if you don't understand that they are different, the function they serve, and why the leadership piece is more important, and also why it's not that one is good and one is bad, which you hear sometimes. Leadership is great, management's bad, but that they're both important. It's just a matter of one piece is growing in importance and we don't have it. If you don't understand that, it's a real liability these days.